Okay, we're going to talk about the triangle sum theorem and the exterior angle theorem. The triangle sum theorem tells me that if I add all three angles of a triangle, that the sum will equal 180 degrees. So looking at my example here, angle A, the measure of angle A is 24. So I'm going to substitute what I know, add the measure of angle B is 62 degrees, plus the measure of angle C, which is our unknown. So we're going to give it the variable x, and it all equals 180 degrees. Combine like terms on the left-hand side. 24 plus 62 results in 86, plus x equals 180. And again, I'm trying to get x by itself, so I would have to subtract 86 on both sides. Doing that will leave me with x is equal to, and let's do our math in our calculator, make sure we're getting it accurate. We're accurate. And that will equal 94 degrees. Well, x is 94, but since it says find the measure of the angle, I am going to make sure I use my degree symbol. So the measure of angle C is 94 degrees. If I'm testing to see that I'm on the right track, like I said, the triangle sum theorem says that if I were to add all three angles, it's going to equal 180. So instead of using x, I'm going to replace it with that 94. And we already have A and B, the measure of angle A and B. So 24 plus 62 is 86. 86 plus 94 is in fact 180 degrees. So we know that that is the correct angle measure for C, measure of angle C. Sometimes you'll have a triangle that's not turned upright, and also it's not necessarily numbers. So we're going to have an expression in this triangle, well, expressions. So I'm using the same triangle sum theorem, which tells me if I add the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C, they have to equal 180. Substituting what I know, the measure of angle A is this entire expression, 3y plus 13, plus the measure of angle B, which is 5y minus 5, plus the measure of angle C. And sometimes they show it like this. If they can't fit the information inside, they'll just show you on the outside that that's referencing this angle. 2y plus 2, and all of it has to equal 180. Combining like terms, 3y plus 5y is 8y, 8y plus 2y is 10y. And then 13 minus 5 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10. Set this equal to 180 and solve for y. Subtract 10 on both sides, which leaves me with 10y is equal to 170. Y is still not by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 10. Y becomes 17. I go back to my directions, and that's what it asked me to do, solve for y, so I'm finished. If it asked me to find the measure of the angle, I would have to take the y and substitute it for the angle that it asked for. So if it was angle A, I would do 3 times 17, which is your new y, plus 13. And if I did that for each measure of each angle, once I added them all together, it will equal 180 per the triangle sum theorem. Let's try one more triangle sum theorem problem. If I have multiple triangles or together, what I'm looking for is I want to find the one that has two angles, because if I can see the triangle that has two angles, then what I can do is add those two angles together. So in this case, 50 plus 48, and then take whatever that sum is, and I'm going to subtract it from 180 because I know that all three angles have to equal 180. So doing my math, 50 plus 48 is 98. 180 minus 98 is 82. So this angle is 82 degrees. But I'm finding the measure of the angle that's marked with the variable. how do I do that if I only figured out this triangle? I have to recall something that I learned before. This is called a straight angle. A straight angle has to equal 180. So 82 plus 30, I'm going to do the same um, strategy. I'm going to use the same method. So I'm going to take 180 and I'm going to subtract the sum of 82 plus 30. So if I do that, 82 plus 30 is 112. If I take that away from 180, I end up with 68 degrees. So that's what goes here. And then again, just test it to make sure you did your math correctly. Okay. So now what I'm trying to do is I can finally get to that angle that I've been trying to solve in the first place. So I have two angles that if I add those together, I can use the same strategy. So I'm going to do 180 minus the two angles that I know, 68 plus 28. And now when I do my math, 68 plus 28 is 96. 180 minus 96 is 84. So X is 84. But since they asked for the measure of the angle, so it's going to be in degrees. So 84 degrees. And again, if I wanted to test it just to see if that is the correct number, this triangle should equal 180. So 68 plus 28 plus 84 should equal 180. So let's test it out in the calculator here. And it does. It equals 180. So we know that is the correct answer. Moving on to exterior angle theorem. Well, let's identify angles. So, okay, on the outside of the triangle, this is outside, think of exit. So this is your actual exterior angle. Now, the two angles that are way away from it, not next to it, this is adjacent. The two that are away are called remote interior angles. Think of like a remote island is away from everything. So the way this theorem reads is if I take my two remote interior angles and I add them together, so I'm going to just use the actual name of the points, or the angles, the measure of angle E plus the measure of angle X, those are my remote interior, will equal my exterior. My exterior cannot just be named I because this could be angle I. So I have to recall earlier in the semester when we talked about how to name angles, this one is angle EIT or TIE, however you want to say it. It just cannot be I by itself. So that's what the exterior angle theorem tells me. It tells me the two remote interior angles have to add together to equal that exterior angle. Knowing this, I can now substitute what I know. The measure of angle E is 52, plus the measure of angle X is, we don't know, which is A, and is set equal to the measure of angle EIT, which is 105. Excuse me. Now I want to get A by itself, so I have to subtract both sides by 52. And A is equal to 105 minus 52, 53. So if I were to place it back in the triangle, it's an angle, so it would be 53 degrees. But A is 53. Okay, now I would like to try to find angle B because that's what my directions are asking me to do. So angle B would be, so there's more than one way to do it. I'm going to look at the adjacent angles, which creates a linear pair. So I know that a linear pair has to equal 180. So B plus 105 has to equal 180 degrees. So I'm going to take that 105 from both sides, and that will help me solve for B. B will equal 180 minus 105, which is 75. So again, if I put that in, that's 75 degrees. And that should make sense. 75 plus 105 is 180. And if I just wanted to test it to see if my triangle sum theorem is true, I would take 75 plus 53 plus the other angle 52. And when I do my math, I will notice that yes, it does in fact equal 180. So I know I'm on the right track. So that's exterior angle theorem. Let's try one more. Now this exterior angle theorem, if you understand how it works, that the two remote interior angles add together to give you the exterior, it doesn't matter how the problem is presented to you, you can still set it up correctly. So my two remote interior angles are angle A and M. So the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle M is going to equal the measure of angle ATH. Okay, so substituting what I know, I'm going to say the measure of angle A is 3x minus 2. I have to add it to the measure of angle M, which is 70, and then set that equal to the exterior angle ATH, which is 18x minus 7. So now doing my math, I'm going to combine like terms on this side. And I have 3x is equal to, 3x plus 68 is equal to 18x minus 7. So I want to put all of my x's on one side and my constants on the other. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides. And since I moved the x's from this side, I'm going to take this constant plus 7 and add it over here. So I just did 2 steps in one, and now I can simplify. And 68 plus 7 is going to result in 75. Is equal to 18x minus 3x, which is 15x. And now to get x by itself, I divide both sides by x. I divide both sides by 15. My pen is having problems, so I apologize for that. Come on, here we go. Okay, so divide both sides by 15. I guess it's tired. And x is 5. Okay, so I didn't have directions, but let's say that we just wanted to solve for x. We're finished. If we wanted to find an angle, we would actually have to substitute in for that x. So it just depends what the directions say. So definitely make sure you're paying attention to the directions. And finally, please like and subscribe. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope this helped.